So we have our page set up, but it's still a bit off because the thing is we can't see the whole thing. And if we press on preview, so this is this button here, or you can also use this one, it's the same. Then what happens is we do see the preview, but we can't scroll properly. And also if we resize it, I don't know, it's just a little off, right? It doesn't behave the way we expect it to. So let's jump back and set this up. So this is a few auto layout changes you need to do. And if you're new to Figma, that's the only part that might be slightly confusing. So just really follow me along here step by step and you should be fine. So grab the desktop. You only need to set it on the desktop and it's going to set it for all the rest. So what we need to do is we need to change this from a free flow to a vertical layout. So let's do this. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to align this to the center and the top. And then make sure that all of this is set to 0. So if you have some numbers in here, change it to 0. In order to see the entire page, we want to set the height not to a fixed value, but to hug the content. So that already looks quite good. Let's have a little look at the preview. So we can now scroll. But you still see that when we're resizing, it's now in the center, but we're still getting these little gaps we don't want because we want this to be very fluid. So we need to do one last little thing. So again, grab the desktop part and then hit enter. And that's going to grab all the child elements and you need to set them to fill the container. So in dimensions, don't take this one out, just use the little arrow and then choose fill the container. And so if we're checking this again, then you can now see that now it is working really nicely. And we can now alter all the content to our liking. So if you change the text in the desktop, that's just going to reflect on all other areas. You can also change the images, of course. Simply select the image and then via the image fill, you can choose any other image from your computer. Now the pages are ready set up for you, so maybe you do want a little bit of a more flexible setup. You could also use the different building blocks then. So let's create another page. So I'm going to go on web page down here. I'm going to place this right next to it. And I'm going to call this, for example, the coffee shop page. And now I'm going to do the same setup. So I'm going to add a tablet. I'm going to add a mobile phone. And now, instead of the ready-made pages, I'm going to jump to the building blocks. So I can see here the same navigation. I'm just simply going to put it on here and you can see that it already adds the same. Now we need to repeat the setup that we had before, which is great. So you can see that again. So let's select our primary page and then remember, first step, we need a vertical setup. Then we need to center this. We need to make sure all of this is set to 0, so it starts from the top. And we now want to set this to hug the content, so we see exactly as much as we have here. The resizing, the fill container, we're going to do at the end, but we could also do it individually with all of them. So you can just select the element, and then you can turn this to fill the container in order to resize. So let's add some more elements. Let's add maybe just a little hero. Let's add that on here. And then if you don't have it in the order you want, you can simply use your up and down keys to change that. And also notice over here you have some options. So for example, you could hide the logo and the button group, or maybe just one button. And so I'm just going to add some images as well. So let's have a look. Is that under card? So what I can do is I can just add this one here, then maybe a larger image. And if you have something like this, let's add some more text as well. Then what you might want is you might want to add some spacing in between these. So you could add this here, but this is going to add spacing to everything. So I don't recommend this. So what I recommend is doing, if you select those two and then you turn them into an auto layout group as well. Again, this might be just a little bit more tricky. So what you do is you hit Shift and A, and it's going to turn it into an auto layout group. And now all you need to do, you can set the gap inside of here now. And you could also set some padding, for example, top and bottom. So for example, now you would have a little gap in between here. And by the way, you can also set a background color if you wanted this. There's some preset colors here for you. So you can use those and you can set any background color, for example. Now, if we want to add images here, then we do that the same as before. Simply click on here and then use the fill image and you can upload images from your computer. And again, also here, if you want to change the order, then you can simply select the element and then with your up and down keys, you can change this around. And also you can change any text here and it's going to reflect across breakpoints. Now, if we have a look at the preview of this page, you can see that it sits nicely, but again, we have this weird jump. So remember, we have to set everything to fill. So we have it set here already. So we could go through each of these elements and then simply set them all to fill the container, or you can use the little trick, hit enter, and now you have all of them selected and now set them to fill the container. So let's have a look again. And you can see that this now resizes nicely. Actually, have a look here, it jumps. And this is because we grouped this. So we need to go inside of this group and then just make sure that this is also set to fill the container. So if we're now having a look, then now it should run smoothly and we can see this really nice behavior. Now let's just connect the pages. So in order to do that, you simply select the element that you want to connect. So I could have the entire thumbnail or only the picture or maybe only this link over here. It's up to you. Then go to interactions. And then all you need to do is you're going to drag out a little interaction and you can see it pulls it out from all breakpoints over here to cafe. And now if we're having a look at this, we can see our page here. We click on our link and it's going to bring us to cafe. Let's just make sure to add a breadcrumb here to go back. You can always do that later. Let's jump back into design, navigation. Here we have our little breadcrumb. Let's add that in here. Again, if you add a new element, make sure you set it to fill the container. And we can now go back with a link to our main page. Remember, you can change any text. And just like this, you have a pretty nice working website. If you're feeling a little overwhelmed with the Figma settings, then I recommend that you jump over to moonlearning.io, where you find in the video courses a detailed rundown through all the basics of Figma. So I recommend getting started with Figma course, where I run through anything related to auto layout, components, variables, and styles for complete beginners. You can get the full template and further information on moonblocks.io. This is a project by Moonlearning.